Imagine saving up for years for that dream trip to the United States. You've pictured yourself at the Grand Canyon, walking through Times Square, or finally visiting family you haven't seen in ages. Now, imagine being told that before you can even apply for a visa, you might have to deposit up to $15,000 in cash. This isn't a hypothetical scenario. It's the new reality for countless travelers, turning the American dream into a financial nightmare, and leaving many to wonder if America's doors are closing for good. For decades, the U.S. has been a top destination for tourists, business travelers, and families alike. But a series of controversial new policies is building a financial fortress around the country, and the message it sends is becoming chillingly clear. In early August 2025, the U.S. government rolled out a policy that sent a shockwave across the globe. Visitors from certain countries, those the government says have high rates of people overstaying their visas, now face a staggering requirement: a refundable cash bond of between $5,000 and $15,000. This applies to standard B1, B2 tourist and business visas, the very visas used for sightseeing, family visits, or attending a conference. The official reason? To make sure visitors go home on time. But for millions of ordinary people, this policy feels less like an incentive and more like a punishment. It's a massive financial hurdle that slams the door shut for anyone who isn't wealthy. At a time when U.S. tourism is already struggling, this new rule has left many feeling unwelcome before they even pack their bags. It's a huge and controversial shift in policy. If you think this is a story that needs to be heard, please take a second to hit that like button and share this video with your friends and family. This isn't an idea that appeared out of thin air. It has its roots in the first Trump administration, where similar proposals were discussed but paused due to the pandemic. Now, with Trump back in the White House, these restrictive ideas are not only back but are being implemented as part of a much larger strategy to tighten America's borders. The bond is just one piece of the puzzle. It's accompanied by other measures like stricter visa interviews and a new $250 visa integrity fee for some applicants. It creates a two-tiered system, a fast lane for the super rich, who can get a gold card by investing, and a path filled with obstacles for everyone else. It seems the new price of admission to America is money, and lots of it. So, how does this bond system actually work? If you're applying from one of the 23 currently designated countries, a U.S. consular officer has the power to decide if you need to pay the bond. Their decision is based on your country's overstay rate, your personal travel history, your education, and why you want to visit. The problem is that much of this is left to the officer's personal judgment, leading to wildly inconsistent and unpredictable results. For example, even before this bond, getting a visa was incredibly difficult for some. In 2024, more than 60% of B2 visa applicants from Ghana were rejected, even when they had all the right paperwork. This raises serious questions about fairness. And here's the catch. Even if you pay the bond, the visa you get is extremely limited. It's often for a single entry, valid for only 3 months with a stay capped at just 30 days. You might even be restricted to entering the U.S. through one of only 3 specific airports. Worse yet, while the bond is supposed to be refundable, there's no clear process for getting your money back. Given how notoriously slow and complicated U.S. government systems can be, many people rightfully fear they'll pay the $15,000 and never see it again. It feels less like a security deposit and more like a ransom. This is where the human element really hits home. Have you or someone you know ever dealt with a frustratingly complex or seemingly unfair visa process? What was your experience like? Share your story in the comments below. We want to hear from you and learn from your perspective. The world is already reacting. Travel agencies from Asia to Africa are reporting a flood of cancellations. Tourists who had planned trips to the U.S. are now choosing more welcoming and affordable destinations like Canada, countries in Europe, or across Southeast Asia. Experts predict that travel interest from regions like Southeast Asia could plummet by 20% or more. Inside the U.S., businesses that rely on tourism are sounding the alarm. The government estimates the program will initially affect about 2,000 applicants. If they all pay the full bond, that's about $20 million temporarily held by the government. But this isn't profit, it's just a deposit. Meanwhile, the program is expensive to run, costing the government nearly $50 per application in administrative fees alone, not counting labor. The math just doesn't add up. The real cost is far greater. The U.S. economy is projected to lose a staggering $12.5 billion in international travel spending this year alone. That's a massive blow to airlines, hotels, restaurants, and countless small businesses that depend on the dollars tourists bring in. This decline in tourism and immigration is having a devastating ripple effect on local economies across the United States. It's a story you don't often hear in the big political debates. Drive through parts of the Midwest or the Deep South and you'll see it. Empty storefronts, help wanted signs gathering dust, and restaurants cutting their hours. The core issue? There just aren't enough people. Immigrants and tourists have long been the quiet engines of many local economies. They are the ones cleaning hotel rooms in Florida, harvesting crops on farms in Texas, and running the small shops in Michigan that keep main streets alive. Now, as fewer visitors and workers arrive, these communities are struggling. Ironically, many of the areas now facing these labor shortages are the same ones that supported stricter border controls. They are now experiencing the direct consequences: a shrinking workforce, fewer customers, and a struggling economy. America's strength was largely built on its openness, on welcoming talent, labor, and new ideas from every corner of the world. But in a climate of fear and nationalism, those doors are closing. In 2025, this isn't just a political talking point, it's a visible reality. Major international airlines are already cutting back or canceling routes to the United States. They cite unpredictable demand and higher operating costs, but the underlying reason is clear: the U.S. is becoming a less attractive and more uncertain destination. Even airlines like Avianca and LATAM have started reducing flights to hubs like Miami and Dallas. Fewer flights mean fewer visitors, fewer business connections, and a slow-motion disconnection from the global community. At its heart, this isn't just about security, it's about control. By using money as a filter, the U.S. is creating a system where opportunity is reserved for the wealthy. It's a fundamental betrayal of the promise of the American dream. As the U.S. tightens its grip, the world is moving on. The tourism industry is shrinking, local economies are hurting, and the country's reputation as a welcoming beacon is fading. The choice ahead is stark: continue down this path of exclusion, or rediscover the spirit of openness that once made it a dream destination for the world. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video informative and thought-provoking, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel for more deep dives like this one, and be sure to ring that notification bell so you never miss an update. We appreciate your support.